आरबीआई गवर्नर कौन है आजकल? उसने क्या किया कॉलेज में? इसके बाद क्या किया? स्टूडेंट्स के बाद क्या किया? यूपीएससी करके कहाँ गया? आईएफएस, आईएएस। अभी वो क्या कर रहे हैं? $3 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी, $4 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी चला रहे हैं, उसके पॉलिसीज चला रहे हैं, है ना? और हम लोगों ने यहाँ पर आज के सेशन के लिए किसको बर्खास्त कर दिया है? किसको आने नहीं दिया? जो इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं है वो अंदर नहीं आ सकता है, लेकिन वो इंडिया का इकोनॉमी चला सकता है। Does it make sense or no? There is no path that precludes anything else for you to be doing at any point in time in the future. So, perhaps with these couple of examples, I have already perhaps answered all the questions. But since we have 45 minutes, we'll kill time. ठीक है ना? So क्या कह रहे हैं हम? MBA versus MA Economics. What did Kirori Mal do? MBA, and then did his PhD in economics, and then did this, did that. What did our man do here? Engineering. Went into a steel plant, but coming and teaching physics. What did I do? I did computer science here in Delhi University. Went to IIM Bangalore. I have nothing to do with all that I do, but I wanted to teach. So, one of the things as 21, 22-year-olds, it's very important for you to kind of quickly make up your mind is that these are all in some ways necessary, but artificial paths that we have created so that you break down a very large problem into easily decidable steps for a youngster. Okay, because if I tell you, no, what I am telling is the truth of life, if you fast forward 20 years or 30 years and then look back. But I can't make it so complicated for you. So for you, if you can pursue only a finite set of subjects as a 19-year-old or a 21-year-old, then the education system gives you options to choose based on certain criteria. The criteria could be self-imposed criteria, or the criteria could be imposed upon you by the institution. वो कहता है मेरे पास, मैं किरोड़ी मल कॉलेज हूँ, हम 70-80 साल पुराने हैं, मेरे पास सिर्फ 100 सीटें हैं, 50 सीटें हैं. How can I cater to every student who wants to come into me from India, across the country, or even like you're talking from international students? So they would say, I'll conduct an exam, it's called CUET. The top 50 of them, among those who apply, I can only accommodate them. That translates into 99.95 as the cutoff. If you understand this, you will know that anybody can do MBA. Jokingly I said, if you are confused, you end up doing MBA. The serious way of saying it is that management is a generalistic subject. It's not a specialization. Okay? That brings me to another question. So we'll keep knocking off a couple of these questions as we go ahead. Okay? ये थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आ गया? कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. MBA करके आप economics जा सकते हो, economics करके MBA की तरफ आ सकते हो. There are people, I can recall some faces who've done MA economics, D school, worked for a couple of years, then have taken CAT and come for MBA, or then have taken RAT. RAT is research aptitude test that used to be conducted some time ago, and you come to do your FPM in finance or economics or whatever. FPM means PhD at an IIM. And if you do a PhD at an IIM, you still cover the first 2 years of all the courses that the MBA student is doing. Does it make sense? So you stay for 4 years for your PhD, but in the first year and a half, you finish all that the PGDM or MBA student finishes, because even for that you need your fundamentals of all these 8 different streams completed. So this is the short-term choice that you are making. In an offline conversation, any one of us can help you make that choice, but the important thing is, what is the long-term choice? And some of these choices you end up making after a while. You realize कि अच्छा यार मैंने सोचा था ये करूँगा, and I will do investment banking, where did it come from? Right? Who was this question? Yeah. So it looks good, it sounds very cool, okay? You get in there, and then you might say that, okay, I've done MBA, I've done investment banking, but what works to me, and I can give you many examples, what works to me is not being an expert working at a desk, writing a check, analyzing it. I would rather want to go and build a company of this kind. So you might, after doing all of this for which you think you have clarity, 5, 6, 7 years down the road, you climb onto a cliff and then you see something more exciting a little far away, you'll make that road and go away. And that's where you will perhaps go and pursue another higher education degree. Okay? So, MBA generalistic program की तरफ आपको ले जाता है. You can start here. ये थोड़ा specialization की तरफ ले जाता है. You can start there and then make your choices further down the road. Okay? But given the Indian realities, Indian B schools are very clear that they would want a diversity, including a diversity in work experience. कि हमको कुछ 4 साल एक्सपीरियंस वाले भी चाहिए, लेकिन कुछ फ्रेशर्स भी चाहिए, कुछ 1-2 साल वर्क एक्सपीरियंस भी चाहिए, amongst other diversity factors. Okay? I'll pause that here and cover the rest of the points. Anything else left, we can always come back to it. Let's pick this up. See, this could be in many areas. We have taken actuarial sciences as it could be anything. Okay? Any new area, okay, whether it's actuarial or machine learning or a data science and data analytics or any new area that is coming up, this is akin to the specialization that I'm talking about. So, in the initial part of your career, for example, when you get out of college, and if you want to do MBA from a good college, one option is you say, I'll go directly from here by cracking a CAT or whatever, or do a GMAT and go for MIM. Or you could say, let me pick up some experience. And because of your interest in statistics or data related areas, you can pick it up here, gather some experience, and then take the exam and go for MBA. It is not necessary though that subsequent to your MBA you need to stay here or you cannot get out of it. That's your choice. Okay. Lot of myths also float around that आप ये करोगे तो उसके बाद ये नहीं कर पाओगे. These are all some things that you keep hearing once in a while. Don't pay too much attention to it. For every such example, there are a dozen examples that have disproved such theories that they throw at us. Okay. See a couple of more points about this. Okay. I went to a business school after doing nothing in college. I went in as a fresher. And IIM Bangalore that I graduated from, 80% of them were with work experience. Okay. So, my own reflection of it is that what you learn in a business school, lot of it always makes a lot more sense or makes sense quicker if you have work experience. Okay. Even after mugging up a whole lot of books, because I didn't have any work experience, for me to answer a question in a marketing paper or in an OB, it didn't come naturally to me. But think of my classmates who had done his engineering, worked in telco on the shop floor, and 20 shop floor workers and one supervisor were reporting to him. He has solved a bunch of problems for the last 3-4 years. So his knowledge of this, management is a very real science. It's a real discipline. Okay. So there is always a greater benefit from a learning standpoint to have work experience and go. Okay. In the same breath, I also must add the other reality, which is that there are large number of corporates who, on the other side of it, they come to recruit you. Some of them have this philosophy, like Levers, Nestle, TAS. Lot of them, they have this philosophy that perhaps I will also look at freshers with equal enthusiasm, because these guys' minds are fresh. I can mold the way it is needed for our organization. Which is why in Indian business schools there is still a significant healthy mix of workex or freshers. So you choose what works for you. Which means you give it a shot. If you think you want to do an MBA, you give it a shot right after college. If you don't make it to the college of your choice, don't pick up any random college. I think that's something that I'll say as a prescription. Just earning an MBA thappa on the CV has no value. You are better off being a little patient, work one more year, give it again, but go to the colleges where you know that the learning will be of what you would want to have by investing 2 years of your life, which is most precious. Okay? Let's come to this side. Have I answered this question? हमने MBA के बारे में क्या कहा था? Is it a specialization course? General. So, the greatest joke in the MBA world is, over the last 15-20 years, every B school who wanted to do more business, they came up with these variations called MBA real estate, MBA hospitality sector, MBA this, MBA that. I think that's a big joke. As an aspirant who is wanting to learn management as a discipline, what you must go for is the flagship, the main MBA program. The reason that these colleges, most of the private colleges, they offer that is because the erstwhile approving authority, AICTE, they put limitations to the number of seats you can offer. उन्होंने कहा कि आप MBA चला रहे हो तो आप सिर्फ 60 बच्चों को ले सकते हो. And the B school says, but I've invested 200 crores on campus. 60 बच्चों का लेकर मेरा economics देखोगे तो break even कब होगा? तो 100 साल हो जाएंगे. तो उसने क्या किया? Sir, I've asked new course called MBA FinTech. The world is going to FinTech. अभी तक चलो 60 सीटें FinTech, 60 सीटें HR, 60 सीटें real estate. क्यों real estate boom पर है? And because the kids want to do MBA, so from a learning point of view, MBA is industry agnostic. Whichever industry you go to, you learn that industry. And there are also these myths that float around saying that, don't get into real estate, you will get bracketed as a real estate guy. Don't go into health sector, pharmaceuticals, you get bracketed there. वहाँ से आप FMCG नहीं जा सकते, वहाँ से आप technology नहीं जा सकते. All of these are changing views and myths. Don't worry about it at all. And MBA knows those 8 pillars of managing a business. Once you master that, you will take it and replicate it in any industry, any geography, any culture. Depending upon how quick your learning quotient is, somebody might take 3 weeks to learn, somebody might take 3 months to learn. Okay? So, there is nothing, this prospects part is linked to the economy. Okay? For instance, before the year 2000, if you go to TCS, Infosys, Wipro, all these tech giants now, you wouldn't have found an IIM graduate or a Harvard graduate an MBA. But when the companies began to scale in large numbers, they realized that they also need general managers who need not be a coder. You've got a good appreciation of coding or technology, but you want him to build business. उसके नीचे project head होगा, वो technologist होगा, उसके नीचे 2000 coders होंगे, they manage that. So industries also, when they evolve over a period of time, they will bring the specialists and generalists. So which industry is the greatest prospect at this point in time is always a question answered with respect to the time period and the geography. Make sense? Yeah? So, like I mentioned with examples of whether it is Raghuram Rajan or who's the founder of Ashoka University? Pramod Sinha. Okay? A McKinsey consultant, Ivy League MBA, left consulting, started a university. and now he is an education consultant. So, the paths could be anything. Similarly, we spoke about the current RBI governor, history honors, UPSC, dealing economics. So, what perhaps you need to work upon is, where do I broadly see myself in a few years' time? Okay, broadly. And when I'm saying this, I'm very mindful of the fact that if you were to ask me when I was at your stage, that 5 years from now, will you have founded a company? My answer would have been no. तो मुझे नहीं मालूम, क्योंकि मैं इस सवाल से जूझ रहा था कि भाई मैं क्रिकेट छोड़ दूंगा, एकेडमिक्स परस्यू करूंगा, तो व्हाट इज द गारंटी दैट आई गेट इनटू इवन अ डिसेंट बिजनेस स्कूल? वाज देयर अ गारंटी? नो. So I appreciate if you don't have clarity about where will you be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But what you must not fail in is to engage with that question. That is very important. Okay? For instance, when you engage with that question, you will get some clarities which are very valuable. For instance, one clarity, absolute clarity that I had was that I am not going abroad for higher education. So, this big canvas had become this. Another clarity I had was, boss, academics, I can crack the exam. But academics, उसी के लिए, मेरे लिए उतना ही था. Which means, it must get me to the highest paid job with shortest ever path. इस तरह से आप डिफाइन कर दो ना, कौन बड़ा सा आता है सामने? MBA. Otherwise, MA economics करो, PhD करो, या I done computer science, I'll do MSc in computers, PhD in computers. मैंने कहा ये सब नहीं करना मेरे को. मुझको फटाफट प्रोडक्टिव मेंबर ऑफ द फैमिली बनना है, उसके लिए, लेकिन क्लास भी नहीं बनना है. तो क्या तरीका इंडिया में? एग्जाम क्रैक करो. उसमें तो ठीक ठाक है. तो बताओ कौन सा एग्जाम है ना? क्या है? क्यों? 10वीं का अंग्रेजी, 9वीं 10वीं का गणित, 2 घंटे का एग्जाम, सारे ऑप्शन दे रखे हैं. आपने सिर्फ CD, BA, CD में चूज करना है. इससे आसान एग्जाम कोई हो सकता है क्या? इससे आसान एग्जाम हो ही नहीं सकता वर्ल्ड में. मैंने कहा चलो इसको कोशिश कर लेते हैं. ये नहीं कर पाए तो लाइफ में कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे, इसलिए एक तरफ चला गया. ठीक है? So, don't be happy if you are confused, but actively seek somebody, your elder brother, your cousin, any of us, reach out, have a conversation, and then the only thing you must sort out is, broadly I know where I would like to be going or where I would not like to be going, but in order to get to that mountain, there is a discipline called design thinking. Okay? In design thinking, if you do that course any place or online, you must do it. You want to go to the Mount Everest, or you want to reach here from your home. Do you connect a straight line and then गाड़ी निकल के चले जाते हो? कहाँ ठोकूंगा मैं? अपने अपार्टमेंट के ही मैं गेट में ठोक दूंगा. क्यों? वहां पर आगे जाके लेफ्ट टर्न लेना है, फिर आगे जाके राइट टर्न लेना है. It's not a straight line, is it? If that is true for everyday life, how can it be different for your career? So many students hereafter they get confused. Sir, I have done civil engineering, now I am going to an IIM interview. Sir, I have done English honors, I am going to IIM interview. How will I defend myself? You don't have to defend yourself. You just need to share your story. Where am I going? Why am I going? So, confusion in that sense is another word for I have choices. Now, the onus has come upon me to make a choice from these options. How do I go about it? And in that, you choose the next destination, crack that path, more options will come up, make one of those 4 choices, go to the next destination. So if you are effective in the short term, and if you integrate that path, integral n is equal to 1 to t 10 years, you will be effective in the long run. If you are taking one slingshot to go to your long-term goal, that's not going to be practical. Okay? Done. We've ticked all these ones. I'll pause. Any more questions? Happy to take. Otherwise, if our time is up, I'm happy to fold up also.